Tens of thousands of football fans came to Highbury. Electrifying.
Yes, guys, and welcome back to TCP Live. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all good. We've got no more Money Penny. He's banned. I've kicked him out. We've got the main man, my boy, James. How are you?
I thought you were going to say we've got no more money, so we've got James on. The budget's been slashed. We can't pay Alex, so James is the guest from now on. I'm tremendous, thank you. And thank you to Dinny in the chat who says James is back. It's a pleasure and an honor as always.
Am I filming on a potato? Oh, for God's sake!
It seems to be warming up a little bit. But,
it's warming up. Let it cook, Dinny. Let it cook. Let it cook. It's marinating. But no, yeah, great to have you on. Like when Alex wasn't available, I was like, yeah, I'm getting James on. That's my boy. We went to Arsenal games. That's Midlands boys.
It's been too long. It's been far too long since we've been to an Arsenal game together, as we mentioned previously.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, everyone in the chat, hope you're all doing well. Just let us know how you're feeling. How's your day been? Has it been good? How's the international break been? I can tell you that I've not watched a single minute of international football. Actually, no, I lie. I did manage to catch 5 minutes of the England game, and during that 5 minutes, I caught the Eze goal. So yeah, that was beautiful. Yeah. But Fapello, thank you so much for becoming a YouTube member. Have I pronounced that right? Fapello. You know.
I'm not going to correct you. I would say Tapello, yeah.
Tapello, yeah. Tapello. No, thank you so much for becoming a YouTube member. And yes, if you wanted to become a member, it's a really good time because me and James B are doing rewatches. We did the Newcastle rewatch recently. And just before hopping on to talk to James, I'd recorded a Scouted with the main man, George.
You should clarify, right? You and James B are doing the rewatches.
James B, yeah. Did I not say James?
You said James.
Did I? Oh.
Yeah. People might be like, I'm not watching Scouted if it's James, only if it's the other James.
They love you. I mean, the chat absolutely loves you. And in the Discord server. So, but yeah, no, there's a lot of content for sure to get your teeth stuck into. But just general housekeeping. Vincent, James camera quality is mugging Rohan's. Do you know what? I have a feeling actually my Mac's probably better than the Logitech camera that I'm using, but.
Probably
is.
Have you, Rohan? You've been part of this podcast long enough to have invested in a camera. I know George got one not long ago. So the day that Rohan gets a fancy camera, everyone's going to get so gassed because that's what happened with George. I was there the first show back when George got a new camera.
Oh, really?
And everyone was like, "Wow, what is this?"
Do you know what it is? It's like. You know, when back in the day, you're on standard definition and you upgrade to HD. You can't watch standard definition again after. Then you go to HD, then you go to Ultra HD, and so on and so on. It's just
you ever seen those videos where they put glasses on a baby? There's some babies that are born with really bad eyesight. They put glasses on the baby, and the baby sees the world for the first time. It's very funny.
That's what's going to happen to me. That's what's going to happen to me when I get that. But you are coming in smooth, absolutely smooth. So thank you so much, Dan. Evening to you. See this, James? Look, they love you. Big fan.
I'm a big fan of you also, Sabnas, and a big fan of the whole Cannon podcast, Ultra, or there's a name for Cannon podcast fans, isn't there? Did that stick in the end? Alex tried to come up with a name. I don't know.
Cannon Cuties?
I don't think that was the one Alex mentioned.
Well, that's our group chat. Me and James,
I know what it was.
George and Alex.
Was Diff Knock. We're known as knockers. So
interesting.
Yeah. But unfortunately, we don't have one for the Cannon podcast yet. So maybe we need the can bags. I like this from N Lawal. The can bags. Does anyone have a better nickname for the Cannon podcast?
I like Cannon Cuties.
The Cannoneers. So far, it might still be the Cannon Cuties, but that is very Rohan coded, which is a good thing. It can be your legacy.
Big cannons and knockers. Right, now I'm not gonna. We're digressing. Okay, so James, Mikel Merino. I wanted to go straight into Mikel Merino because he's been showered with praise by people who don't like him. I'm seeing new people come onto the scene, Mikel Merino, etc. I mean, I've never been Mikel Merino's biggest fan, but mate, what he's doing, don't think we can ignore it anymore. Do you know, like before, where it's, if Mikel Merino can score goals at centre forward, then anybody can. It's like, that's doing him a disservice, really, isn't it? But yeah, eulogize Mikel Merino. Give me your thoughts on Mikel Merino.
He's one of the best finishers at the club. So this idea that anyone would score more goals than him definitely didn't really make sense. I understand the principle because we unlock new possibilities with other players in that position, like being able to play them through. Unfortunately, we still haven't quite got to grips with when to release and the exact way to use Gyökeres in that way. But yeah, Merino, honestly, it's funny because there's this idea that it's like blasphemy to put him up front, and you can only do that if everything else has fallen down. I think the more we see and hear from him, the more we think, actually, forget the position that he was signed as a centre mid. That is a viable solution. The same way Havertz was signed as a centre mid, but it's now a viable solution to play Havertz up front.
Yeah.
He just has a knack for goals, especially on the international stage. I'm sure someone said that he has 22 goals and assists in 2025, which is ridiculous for a man of his position, or whatever position we want to describe him as. So explain to us what's on the screen here.
I shall indeed. So Mikel Merino has scored more 2026 World Cup qualifying goals than Mbappe, Gyökeres, Ronaldo, Isak, Lewandowski, Gakpo, and Rasmus Højlund, who is, he's performing really well actually right now for Napoli. He's on a real streak of hot form. But yeah, I think with Mikel Merino, it's like, like before it was kind of laughed at. It's like, oh, Mikel Merino scored again. I think we've got to take this seriously now. And I want to point this back to you, right? Because people know my thoughts on things. I'm on here a lot. They want to know what you think. Okay, so I'm going to throw this back at you. Do you think when Arsenal signed Mikel Merino, they envisaged him having this capacity to perform like this and to perform the way that he is in terms of the goals that he's scoring and how he's contributing? Mate, the Newcastle header is unreal. Like the finish, it's crazy. So give me.
I think the way we sign players nowadays, we know that we kind of look at a skill set as opposed to, right, this is a left centre midfielder per se. So I think we knew the attributes that he had. I don't think we knew exactly how we'd utilise him exactly. I assume that he was signed as a Rice backup. And in that left centre midfielder role. I can't say when we signed him he was ever envisioned as an Ødegaard backup. But that said, even quite early last season, we did see a midfield three of Partey, Rice, and Merino, which suggests to me that Arteta kind of knew it back then. And Merino, I don't know, it really wasn't smooth, and I still don't think it's been smooth with those three in midfield. I don't have the answer as to why. Maybe I'd like to hear that from you.
Yeah.
But yeah, having Merino in midfield. What has also been an interesting discussion to me is there's always been chat about how our record is so bad with Merino in midfield, ignoring the fact that we lose one of our most important players, or up until Eze came in this season, that Merino in midfield was a direct contribution because of Ødegaard not being in the team. And we knew how important Ødegaard was to the press. We knew how important Ødegaard was to the first, second, and third phases, especially before Zubimendi. So last season, it was even more obvious that flat midfield wasn't going to work. Yeah. This season, despite it not working, and I think we can say that conclusively that it didn't work against Man City, the logic made more sense this season. That said, I still don't like that midfield three and think he is useful as rotation for Rice when we don't want to play Rice every game. He is useful to bring on as a sub for Rice because, again, I don't want to overuse Rice. And also, he is useful when we're chasing games because you have an extra runner into the box, exactly as we saw against Newcastle. And when you have 5 attackers, and you can have that 6-1 making the late run, it's so difficult to defend against. And when you've got the movement he does and the finishing / heading ability he does, then it's a threat always. And he offers something very different to Gyökeres, to Eze, to Ødegaard. It is something else. Yeah. And especially as much as I love Rice, he doesn't box crash in the same way, I would say.
I mean, absolutely. Do you remember last season against Newcastle at St James's Park? We were absolutely pony. We were rubbish. We lost 1-0. It's the Isak header. But then towards the end, it was that Saka cross. And then Rice is getting on the end of it. And like Mikel Merino buries that, and I think Declan Rice has improved massively in that regard, but it's like it doesn't come, as you said, as natural to Rice than it does with Merino, and that makes sense. And Thierry Henry, if it is the real Thierry Henry, my God, imagine that scene. I mean, if he's looking at two people, he's looking at me who can't play ball. I can tell you for a fact I can't play ball. James, on the other hand, is top. He's top. He's got lots.
Have you played? I don't think we've played football together.
No, but I've seen the clips. I know you're a bit of a baller. Like I'm an El Neni type. I've always said this. I like the nice simple passes. I will not be taking risks.
I'm a Xhaka type. Hard cruncher in the midfield, defensive midfielder, passion merchant, Roy Keane.
Love that.
On Merino.
Yeah.
At the start of this season, considering how bloated the squad has got, and not because I don't like Merino, just because there's a numbers problem at some point, especially if Lewis Skelly comes into midfield. Yeah. Where did you stand on Merino, hypothetically and metaphorically, at the start of the season, and where do you stand on him now for the future?
Yeah, I won't lie to you. Like I've never. So Mikel Merino, if we go all the way back to the summer window, I didn't watch Mikel Merino. I didn't know much about him before. I knew his journey. We all knew he played for Newcastle, and he'd had stints, obviously Dortmund, and then assigning him from Spain, Real Sociedad. But I did the foolish thing, right? I looked at the dual numbers, I looked at a lot of the statistics, and I kind of like tried to paint a picture of the type of player that I felt he would be. Like with Declan Rice in terms of how good he is in the press, out of possession, his ability to do. I'm not going to go into nuances, but there's a lot of complexity to what Rice was doing last season because he can do it. And I thought with Mikel Merino, he could replicate that. And in a similar way to you, I did think that he was going to be like the Declan Rice understudy or the backup, and also to allow us to play that midfield three of Odegaard, Rice, and Merino. But then when I watched Mikel Merino, I could tell after 4 or 5 games, like, no, I've been fooled by the numbers in terms of like,
But do you remember that first? Was it against Chelsea?
It was one of his early campaigns. Yeah, he was really silky. Yeah, he was really good.
And he fooled us all. And it turns out he's the Spanish Thomas Souček.
I prefer McTominay. But but I think for me, like with Mikel Merino, when it comes to like the dueling capacity, the way I've always felt it was like Mikel Merino, when the distances are tight, like you've got a congested space and you're hitting it long, he's fantastic. He'll win the first contact 9 times out of 10. But it's like when Mikel Merino doesn't get to a duel, so when we're talking about the press, and let's say it becomes a 1v1 scenario and you've got your man, and if Mikel Merino doesn't get there, he's not getting back. It's like he's towing a caravan. I'm not going to be, I don't want to be harsh, but it is.
I can't remember what game it was this season, but there was a game where 3 or 4 times he was late in the press and just kept standing on players.
Yeah,
and it was a really, really difficult watch. I was like, this. But the difficulty is the way we press, and you know better than I, but with this man-to-man, ball goes, you've got to get out there. And there's 2 aspects. One, sharpness in the mind, and he's not Zubimendi in that aspect. And 2 is sharpness in the feet, and he's definitely not Rice in that aspect. So when you combine the 2, he will always be half a second late in those big spaces. When it's congested, absolutely, he will win those duels. And probably reminiscent of the Spanish league, when the game is a little bit slower, fine. But the demands of the Premier League mean that when it doesn't work, he is chasing shadows and towing caravans, as you said.
Yeah. Just to go back to the comment, I think so. He's mentioning about, he's not talking about finishing. He's talking about build-up game is more silky than Rice. So for me, with Mikel Merino, I think Mikel Merino is really like some of his play, like higher up between the defensive and midfield line. When he's receiving in the half space, he has some really silky touches. His movement in those situations as well to drift out wide. I really like his game there. But for me, the deeper Mikel Merino goes, the more problematic it becomes because he struggles on the turn. He's not able to evade pressure. Yeah, he's too big and he's quite clunky. It's interesting because it's like, I'm sure, and I don't know if you've seen Big Gabby's recent interview with Sky. He's asked about who he thinks will be a manager, And I'd usually think Martin Odegaard is one of the first names that comes on, but he says Mikel Merino. I don't know if you also saw, but Mikel Arteta for Spanish radio coverage, he was asked about who's the most tactically astute in the squad. He says Mikel Merino. So like
I thought this guy took the international break off, and now he's telling me that he's been watching 3 or 4 interviews every day and recording scouting. So
interviews are not games, though, you know that. But and I think that interview was a few months ago. But like, I think with Mikel Merino, he has a clear picture in his head. But I think the deeper he goes, I'm always anxious. Because I feel he's going to lose the ball in a dangerous situation. Even though like his mind and what he knows he needs to do, he's got a clear picture, but his ability in those areas leaves much to be decided personally for me. So,
which is funny because everyone will tell you that he's a DM and that Arteta plays 3 DMs.
I was just to get this.
If you watch him, he's certainly not a DM. I know he used to be for Newcastle, but he's certainly not. Just
wanted to add, right, Pete, you ain't winning anything this year, so get out of it. And guess what? You're not going to be able to comment again because I'm going to block you. That's what I'm on today.
Wow.
Just
to go on to this, CC. I know a famous Curran whose initials are CC. But so you both hate Merino. This is obviously not true. If someone is successful for the Arsenal, and Merino has been, and he's popped up with some hugely important goals, I really like the guy and I like the player. I just think that he has to be used in a certain way.
Yeah.
And I think that if we're looking at people who are on the periphery of the squad, in a weird way, because he is being used a lot now, but it's a piece that will be able to be upgraded at a certain point, as is a Trossard, for example. Because if you look at our squad now, it's in a very, very promising place where we're not moving Gabriel, Saliba, Mosquera, Raya, Kepa, all of these guys. So we're going to look next summer and think, who is moving on? So as a segue, what is Merino's future for us?
It's interesting because it's like my whole feelings about Mikel Merino and the type of player that he is completely changed to what I felt he was. Like if Mikel Merino was an out and out like left central midfield understudy and a backup, like in the way that we think, I'd be saying that's a natural transition for Miles to go there eventually. But they're different players. So I don't know. Like I always had Mikel Merino as one of my sales for the summer.
Because you can't bring Miles off the bench in that left centre mid position to change the game.
Yeah,
like you can in one way, but it's not.
But not directly. Like in terms of like pure output. Like Miles Luskelly is not going to come on and consistently win us games by scoring goals. That's what Mikel Merino can do. Like I found it very interesting. So the moment Eddie Howe brings on Kieran Trippier, Eddie Howe is giving the clearest message that we recognise the type of game that this is going to become. So we are reacting to it, and we are going to play a game that we don't necessarily want to play, but you are forcing us to do that. And Mikel Arteta immediately responds by saying, Mikel, you're coming on now because you have the capacity to change the game in the box. And he said, I remember he said, and I've said this many times on the podcast, post Brentford away, do you remember that game near Christmas, the 3-1, where Mbeumo scores the opener and then we get back and Mikel Merino scores? He said post-match, it's like when the game becomes really crowded, the density increases in the box. Mikel Merino is like a master. He said a master at finding space in the box. This was before he's had this surge of form. And that's what makes me think like maybe it was part of the planning. Maybe they were looking at that goal he scored in the Euros against Germany. And that's against Antonio Rudiger as well. Like maybe there is some thought there. And that's what I'm thinking, like, mate. Like I look at the list of players that we've signed under Mikel and like there are so many hits. They're pretty much all hits, in my opinion, in their own way. Like the big purchases. I was looking at Mikel Merino thinking, okay, this is probably one that we've kind of missed on. But 35 million, what he's doing, yeah,
especially if we can recoup 20 million, because I don't think his wages are going to be ridiculous. Do you know? To answer that question myself comes to a really interesting nuance.
Just a really quick one: is it pretty bad, or am I good?
I think the quality's not great.
Is it not?
Like you sound absolutely fine. It just looks like you're being recorded on a potato.
God. Do you mind if I come out and come back in?
You
Really
can come out,
quickly?
come back in, and
Yeah.
I'll just speak to the chat.
Yeah, go on then. Oh, nice. Oh God, if I leave, then actually I don't know. I don't want to leave because then the end stream might collapse. I've got no idea. I might just.
I don't think so because I'm also logged in, but yeah, maybe don't risk it.
Sorry.
Alas, where were we? Oh, I think that if the Premier League allows 9 subs on the bench next season, then keeping Merino makes loads of sense. But I think if it stays at 7, then there's going to be questions whether there's space on the bench, and then you wonder what his role is in the squad. That, of course, when players get injured, but when our squad is full at the moment, it's massive.
Yeah.
And I know you need a massive squad, but it will be too big, especially with Marley Salmon's not quite there, but Salmon and Dowman are next on the conveyor belt, unless we shift other pieces. But we're going to sign Semenyo at left wing, so we need the squad space for him.
You have amazing eyes.
Thank you, Rohan, and that's it.
You do.
By the way, where, yeah, there's a funny bit in the chat I've been seeing.
Yeah.
Issa says, I think saying that you wish the worst for Merino and his family is going a bit far, James. Yeah, I got hook, line, and sinker there. It's already 9 subs.
9 subs?
Yeah, probably, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It is 9 subs.
What is it in La Liga?
I was talk to you. Yeah.
What is it in La Liga or Champions League?
I'm not sure.
I'm sure Champions League is more.
I think Champions League is 7. I think
it's less.
I think so. Or
this is why we've got a chat of 200 people to correct us. Word of the day.
I don't have word of the day
more than once. You don't have a word.
I don't have a word of the day. I've been recording with George, so yeah. I mean, I could go on my notes right now and have a look at some of the words I've been looking at.
Oh yeah, because you've been all over it. Rohan and his Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. Welcome to the club.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm reading a sick book right now. Actually, I don't know where it's gone.
Rohan is on his psychology.
Let me get the book,
which makes me awfully happy as a psychology degree holder, if I may.
This book I'm reading right now, right? It's absolutely sick. It's very good.
We can't see because of the quality.
It's actually that bad. Yeah. Can you see it?
What killed capitalism? Just about. Yeah. No thumbnail check. Also, we don't have a thumbnail.
Thumbnails. Oh my god! I have to log in on what? I can't do it. I don't think I can do it unless you can do it.
What am I doing? Sorry.
Wait, do you have the thumbnail? Oh, do I even?
I don't have the thumbnail.
I'll tell you what, I've not really been prepared, to be honest with this. I don't have the thumbnail actually.
Word of the day. To answer this question, I am studying a PhD in sports psychology. That is my job at the moment. I want to think of a word of the day, but we're not going to sit and wait. The show can carry on.
We're going to carry on. Right?
If we think of something beautiful, we will discuss it.
Absolutely. I wanted to talk about Zubimendi now, just to quickly. The final play before we do our little. The big thing I wanted to do on this this TCP live today was to rate every single player so far this season. So me and George actually did rate players in the main pod, but we didn't give like specific actual numbers out of 10. But then what we're going to do is we're going to go higher or lower as to what we believe that rating will be come the end of the season, which I think would be interesting.
I like this. There's a super chat, by the way, and I would.
Ali, thank you so much for your super chat. We really do appreciate it. I would rather have Merino in our squad as a weapon over Havertz. Reason being is I don't believe Havertz or Gyökeres are good enough to lead the line. They can be upgraded, in my opinion. That's interesting, right? Because I think we soon could be in a difficult situation with picking between one or the other with Gyökeres and Havertz. So.
I think at the end of this season, it's going to be a really interesting situation that if Gyökeres doesn't have a great season and if Havertz outperforms him, we'll then be looking at him thinking, what do we do now? Do we cash in or do we just keep him as a sub? He doesn't strike me as a player who would do his best work as a sub. Yeah, of course, and yeah, huge caveats with this. He is yet to get going in himself, and also the team hasn't fully understood him. I think we all know that if Havertz wasn't injured, the idea would have been to bed him in slowly.
Yeah.
This is also interesting in this concept because Havertz has 2 years left and is on 290,000 a week. So what we've got to ask ourselves is he bringing 290,000 worth in ability? But also, who's on the market? Who? If we pause it in time right now, who would you sign as the next striker? What a ridiculous question to ask, by the way.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I've not watched a lot of Europe, football across Europe to know really. But like I said, it's a difficult one. Just to add on your point about Havertz, I think it's a big season for Havertz because, like you just said, he's got 2 years left on his deal. His fitness is now going to become under more question, right? Because of what we saw towards the end of back in the last season. And by the way, he was run into the ground. He was rinsed like a bar of soap because other players were absent. And then that had the compounding impact of Ben Havertz being out with his big injury. Then he's suffered another setback. So, but 2 years left on his deal. I think this is a big season for Kai. Like if he has a strong campaign after coming back, then I think we will give him a new deal. Like, I don't think people realize how much Mikel loves Kai Havertz. Like, I think
you've seen the size of him now.
Yeah. The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, and I did see that part of the Gabriel interview. He said, "Who's the biggest beast in the gym or something?" And he said,
But I do think though, with just to quickly add on that, I think with Gyökeres, I think he's going to benefit so much from Kai Havertz being back because he is the one player who so far has not been able to be managed as much as what we would have liked to have done. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Like, I think Kai Havertz would have started the season if he was fully fit and ready to go. And you know, I just think with Gyökeres, some of the games that we've seen recently against West Ham, I thought he was poor. But there could be other reasons behind that. He's played a lot of games. He played the full 90 against... I don't think he played the full 90, but he played, the majority of the game against Olympiacos, then played Newcastle as well 3 days earlier. So, yeah.
Do you want to hear my left field shout?
Where's safe space?
Ekitike is going to be unsettled at Liverpool and want to find his way out. And rather than Liverpool keeping him unhappy, Arsenal will say, we need a French boy at the Arsenal.
Yeah. Do you know what is Gyökeres? For me, he's just... I like Gyökeres. I like him a little bit more than what others have said, right? But in terms of like my overall feeling on a striker, like Ekitike screams an Arsenal type striker.
Yeah.
Doesn't he? Just screams it. It's like, when you talk about flow, how the game flows. The game flows with someone like an Ekitike, which he doesn't with Gyökeres, and that's fine because he's a different type of player. But yeah, it's just a preference that I...
He is very raw, and I think probably that's why we didn't look his way, because he's probably not a win now striker.
Yeah.
But it was interesting to me that, if I'm correct in saying, when Gunnar Blog released the article, Gonzalo Ramos was one of the names that considered, which is interesting. Seshko, I think Julian Alvarez was at one point. I really don't think Ekitike was ever mentioned as a name for us.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Maybe it's because we wanted a different profile, or maybe again because he wasn't quite ready for us. But I do like a signing. This is kind of twisted way of looking at it, but someone who underperforms their XG, because if you sign them, then it means the season after, if they regress to the mean, you will get a better performance. In the same way, we sold Balogun after he'd scored like 7 more than his XG, for an inflated price, and then the season after, he didn't play worse. He just wasn't scoring every goal, every shot, and then all of a sudden you think, wow, we got a great deal for that. Not dissimilar to Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe, his finishing was so hot when we sold him.
And I remember you saying that very early on, actually, about Smith Rowe. You'd probably read that book at that time, Thinking Fast, and because that's where I got it from. But no, I do think though, I wanted to keep this comment up because I'd say a year ago, James, I remember there was a question that came on the main pod, and it was like, who would be your like unpopular shout? I said Mateta. I really like Mateta. I don't know, thoughts. Give me thoughts. I think Mateta.
Right, I'm viewing this not from a tactical point of view, just from a snobbery point of view, and just from a casual football fan's point of view. I just think he's a half measure. And as Mike says from Breaking Bad, no more half measures. So I just think he's good. Yeah. But is he world class? Is he Arsenal level? I think he'd be a fine squad player, but the players we need now are level raisers.
Yeah.
And we've signed squad players in other positions, like backup defensive midfield, for example, like right centre back. We needed someone who was coming through the ranks, but up front we needed a game changer. And Arteta said himself, we need world beaters who will change games, like Bayern Munich 2 seasons ago. I'm not convinced Mateta's that guy. I like him as a player, but he would be a 15 to 20 goal a season striker. And I think we're aiming for a 20 plus goals a season striker. And even Havertz, during the 2024, from about January to September 2024, he was on smoke. And he didn't even take penalties, but I'm sure he scored about 15 goals that season.
Yeah, he did. He did in all comps. Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I think that's fair, Mateo. I think it's just like left field shout, an unpopular opinion. It feels 40 million.
No, I like the shout.
Yeah,
and
yeah. I mean, in terms of like back to goal, it's like back to goal. You lump a ball long. I don't think I would. I think he's right up there, the best in the league. Mateta, like Gabriel and Saliba locks centre forwards off, week in, week out. Mateta is one of the few players who. Do you know he ran them ragged, like back to goal? Chat, do you remember that game? Please, I watched that on my 10-inch TV in India, and I was thinking, what is Mateta doing to my 2 centre backs? It's like, what is he doing? But yeah, a mad one there.
Yeah, I to be honest, I think he'd deliver a similar level to Gyökeres, which is no discredit to either of them. I think they're both very good strikers. I just don't think they are better than Havertz, I suppose would be my answer.
What's on this comment, James? You nearly got me. You nearly got me there. But I didn't buy it. Right, let's go quickly to Martin Zubimendi. I wanted to show you this, right? Let me get it up here. Let's eulogize over our number 6, Martin Zubimendi. So this was his heat map against Georgia. Forget about the numbers in terms of duels, but if you look at his heat map, right, James, this for me is the most important aspect of what Martin Zubimendi has given to this team, the ability to move laterally to that left-hand side. And the reason why I say that is because, like, Declan Rice and Odegaard, there have been many fan discussions over where each is maximized, because some people believe that they're better on the left, some people believe they're better on the right. What we can all agree on, though, is that both can play in both areas of the pitch.
Yep.
I don't think we've had someone like Thomas Partey in 22-23. He was fantastic. But in the last 8 or so games, he was up there with Rodri. But Thomas Partey, I don't think was ever comfortable moving to the left-hand side and being able to advocate for that level of rotation and fluidity. And for me, James, like, I don't know where you stand on this. I'm going to throw this to you. Like, I think, like, if Arsenal had Martin Zubimendi last season, if we had better health, we would have seen some of the stuff we're seeing this season, last season. Like, I don't think Mikel Merino has had some massive change in the way that he sees football that has altered things that we're seeing this season in terms of the rotation in midfield. I think this is player-driven. I think this is because of Martin Zubimendi. And, I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. So,
yeah, and I fully agree, because there were games where Partey would take up almost that right half space. And,
exactly.
And it became very, very stagnant in the rotations, because there were we've talked about this before, but there were just too many players congested. And Partey would stand there. You got White or Timber in the right, right touchline space. Odegaard is therefore pushed onto Saka's toes. and it was so congested. Whereas you got Zubimendi, who will occupy that space if necessary, but also he'll pull himself out and release that ball early. So on the right hand side, you've avoid that kind of stagnant and overcrowded space. But then also, as you say, he's got the ability to pull to the left hand side too, and create more room for others. And through this, also looking at how advanced he is, you can see that he's more than comfortable in stepping up into advanced spaces. Unfortunately, we have essentially the best policeman in world football in Declan Rice, who will say, I've got my mop out, I've got my taser out. Anyone who comes past you, they're getting swept up and tasered. So
interesting.
not quite as eloquent as George.
I was thinking, where's he going with this? What's he cooking?
But so I really, really enjoyed the season. The Zubimendi and Rice almost flat pivot.
Yeah.
That each of them can push, and it makes us so much less predictable in build up, so we can find far more solutions and be less predictable. But B, one of the biggest differences is whoever has been in the 10 has allowed to be more central.
Yes.
And it means we're actually receiving the ball inside the block. And you've seen it actually. There was I think it was a Rice pass specifically to Eza. I want to say it was against Newcastle.
It was. Newcastle.
And that only happens because Eza has the freedom to move between the lines.
Yeah.
Previously,
horizontally.
Flat, yeah, exactly. Previously, when it was that flat 3, every time the ball would go to Ødegaard outside of the block, and we'd have no way to access inside. So them two having this flat 2, it still functions as a 4-3-3 on many occasions, but a lot of the time you have that free roaming 10 that just unlocks defenses so much better. If you agree or disagree with that.
I do agree. I do completely agree. And like I said, I just think this is player driven. And actually with Martin Zubimendi, do you know what the thing was? It's like there was so much emphasis on like Martin Zubimendi will need time to adapt to Arsenal. I was like, no, from an on the ball perspective, Arsenal are going to be adapting to Martin Zubimendi because this is a guy who's been educated at Spain for Real Sociedad, in which, yes, the quality difference is big, but he's been in an environment in which he's been in a lot of positional systems. He's played for the Spanish international team, which it is a positional system. And with that comes pretty much the same sort of idea in terms of like, I want to generate superiority. I want to generate it in many different forms. And Zubimendi is constantly picking out spaces, whether it's to the right, whether it's to the left, to allow us to keep flowing through the thirds. I think that's the key. Like, my big prediction was, like, before the season, was Arsenal's midfield would operate similarly to how PSG's midfield operated last season in terms of Vitinha, João Neves, and Fabian Ruiz. Not to the same level in terms of how fluid their fluidity is off the scales. Like, it's so difficult to know where they're going. But it's the same sort of principle. And I think the benefit that Zubimendi has had is it's allowed Declan Rice to be the player that I think he is more. Like, it's crazy because Declan Rice for me has been elite at Arsenal. But I still don't think we've unlocked his true capacity. And I think we are this season. And he mentioned it. I know I've not watched any of the international games, but I don't know if you saw the interview that he did with Haters TV. It's like, my role has changed this season. Did you see that? I'm sure you saw that.
I didn't.
Oh, really?
I stayed true to my word. You said you're not watching football, but evidently watching every single interview.
I'm always consuming. Always.
I have been not watching or consuming.
Well, I will show you. Let me find it actually.
What I also want to add actually is I watched Zubimendi live, which many people might not have done prior to joining Arsenal. Real Sociedad played against United, and I was at Old Trafford. I thought it'd be an interesting game to go to. And it's really funny because I tweeted saying, I like what I see with Zubimendi. He's very, very good at anticipating. He duels well. Like, he didn't have his best game, but I saw really, really promising signs.
Yeah.
And everyone watching on TV was like, what are you talking about? He was rubbish. And he is exactly the type of player that the closer you watch him, because I went to that game and the only person I cared about was Zubimendi. I didn't care about the United players or the Social players. So I was watching him really closely. And I did see promising signs. Maybe it was confirmation bias. Another Kahneman shout. But I thought he was really good. And people watching passively didn't appreciate his brilliance. I think now you are starting to see his brilliance, both directly when he's on the ball, when everyone's playing around him, but also indirectly. The way the whole team has elevated around him is something that we've been missing essentially since Arteta came into the job. The only player who's been similar in that sense was Jorginho. And when we talked earlier about towing a caravan, Jorginho tows 2. So as much as I loved him, and that Declan Rice Jorginho midfield against Liverpool was so beautiful. But we needed someone with 2 working legs. And Zubimendi does that, and many other things.
A final Kahneman reference, right? Just to quickly end on Zubimendi before we play our game. The anchoring effect, right? So what was happening before? Yeah. Listen, please. Hopefully, some of you in the chat have actually have read this book. It's actually so good. But the anchoring effect. So, you get the FB ref up, right? Everybody does it. You get the FB ref up, and you look at Zubimendi's data. You're looking for all the greens, and you don't see a lot of greens. And because you're not seeing a lot of those greens, your thoughts and feelings of the player are being anchored towards a player who is flattering to deceive. But you need to watch the player because the team that he was at and the environment, and he mentioned as well in one of his recent interviews for The Athletic, that it was really difficult for Real Sociedad last season. There was a lot of transition going on, and it was a tough season. So if the environment is not there to allow you to flourish, your numbers aren't going to look as good. And that's why I thought you need to watch Zubimendi for the Spanish international team. And it was that game against Portugal in the Nations League, the final, where people are like, wow, this guy's actually a proper baller. Because against England, what it is, James, like when England played Spain, nobody was micro-analysing Zubimendi because we didn't think it was going to be an Arsenal player. But the moment okay, he's coming to Arsenal, you don't watch anything else, you just watch that player. And people saw what he was doing. And I was guilty of that at the start as well, where I watched a couple of Zubimendi games and I was like, I like him, but I don't know if he's like all that. But as I watched more, I just felt, mate, this guy's going to offer so much. So, I'm actually so happy with that Kahneman reference, not going to lie.
Let me, it was a good one. Here we go. Right. If anyone wants to understand how deceiving FB ref can be, here is Luis Muriel's stats. Any Atalanta player for Gasperini. Look at this. He must be the best player in the world. Can you see this? Look at all of this. Similar forwards to Luis Muriel, Lionel Messi, and Victor Gyökeres. But this is why you do not just look at greens on FB ref and all of a sudden assume that a player is the best in the world. Use your eyes, people.
Absolutely.
But I do. There's a tweet which is so good. It says the only problem with the eye test is that stupid people also have eyes, and I love that one.
It's not. Yeah, stupid, to be fair. Speaking of stupid people, and this is interesting.
Tversky.
Was that his name? Can't remember.
Who are we talking about here? Bogdan, please let us know.
There was the other person that was referenced in his book, but listen, he might have been a fraud, fair enough. But I mean, that book is like a top seller. It's like one of the most famous books over the past 20 years, I think.
Indeed, it is.
Yeah, but maybe he's fraud. But I learned a lot. a lot.
Yeah.
Amos, that's it. Yeah, Amos. Yeah, you're.
That's what I said. Tversky.
Did you say
I'm
Amos?
only on second.
You're on second name. Yeah, because I didn't.
Second name basis.
Amos rings a bell. I didn't. Yeah, it's Tversky didn't ring a bell. Forget about Kahneman though. Forget about that loser. Well, he's not a loser, but yeah. We're gonna go to the main source, and that is our squad, and we're gonna rank each player so far for their season, and then project what we think that rating will be come the end of the season. And play along chat as well. Give me your ratings so far for this season, 10 games in. And then also what you feel that rating will be come the end of the season, where we will all be at that parade. So, David Raya, go on.
Are we doing?
Can you give me some thoughts as well? Yeah.
8. I think 8 for me is very, very solid and very promising. It's nothing lavish, nothing outstanding, but I'm very happy with your performance. You've started very well. I just can't ask much more from him. He has conceded 3 goals all season.
In the Premier
One of
League,
which was, and I will not have this
no
blame
competition,
on
sorry.
the free kick.
Yeah,
It was an unbelievable free kick. Haaland's goal, which was unsavable, and Newcastle's header,
The header,
which again, I don't think he could save. So absolutely couldn't ask for more. And he also, there was one game, I cannot remember which game it was, where there was a goal that nearly caught him out. It was a cross or something. It came off someone's foot, and he's tipped it over the bar.
Oh, it was against. I think it was West. Was it West Ham?
I don't think so.
No, it was Forest.
Yeah.
It was Forest. It was Forest. It was the Forest.
But
game.
I think the scoreline at that point was relatively close.
It was 2-0 at the point. I remember.
Was it? But,
it was
either
the
way,
remember it was the. So I'm going to try and get it back in your head. So the Calafiori plays that ball. Calafiori plays that ball in behind for Eze. He squares to Gyökeres, and then immediately after, there was, like I said, it was on the right hand side. I think it was Ndoye, and I think it deflects off Gabriel, and then Raya tips it over. Hopefully that helped. Probably not, but
I know what you mean. But it's just another example of his concentration levels being a huge upgrade on what we've had previously. And with all due respect to Ramsdale, I think Ramsdale probably concedes that, not because he isn't capable of making the save, because when you have 70 latent minutes in a game, and in the 71st minute that happens, it takes huge concentration for a slight deflection to make that save. So yeah, I'm very happy with this start.
Just to add on that, and I think eight's fair. Like I'd actually probably go maybe towards a 9 because I think he's been faultless, and he's also that Man United game. I think that Man United game we could look back on at the end of the season as being key because we did not play well, and I saw it as an anomaly because a lot of the things that we did in that game I don't associate a team doing under Mikel. I felt there were so many things that I was like, this is not right. And it's like, just get out there of the win. And Raya was so clutch in that game.
Yeah.
But I think the Ramsdale thing, just my final point on this, because I don't want to spend too long on each player. It's like, I feel with Aaron Ramsdale, whose best performances were when he was warm. So he was constantly peppered. When he's constantly peppered, he's alert. And I think it goes back to your point where it's like, at a top club competing for titles, and Raya's been able to showcase this, you're not going to be active from a shot stopping point consistently. It's going to be 1 or maybe 2 moments in the game, and you need to be alert, and you show that many times. Projecting to the end of the season, I think I'm going to go for a 9, but then I'm going to move it to an 8 because I don't think he will be as involved because of how great we are off the ball defensively.
If he is less involved than already, then I'd like to see how few goals we concede this season because that'll be pretty impressive.
Yeah. But yeah, what do you reckon you'll get come the end of the season?
I'll stick with 8. And if we were doing 0.5s, I'd go 8.5. But the only reason I say this is because it's difficult for him in his position to go above and beyond. He will be steady. He will make important saves. But for me, 9 is reserved for those players who carry us to the title, basically really take us to the next level, and 10 will be 1 or 2 players who are our best players and probably in the team of the season. That said, Raya, if he continues this way, very well might be in the team of the season, and if he is, then it's hard to argue against the 9.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to quickly jump onto this comment, did you see the links to the Stuttgart coaching department? Like Alex said, their recruitment has been on point. Garassi, Stiller, Ndav. Ndav, is it? Is that the Brighton one? Was that the Brighton player?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I'd be excited if we end up getting that. I'm not seeing those links actually, but yeah, I've read stuff that they're doing.
Wait, who else? Who's Kabak and the other guy?
I don't know. I don't know. So I didn't even bother.
Wait. By the way, you've still not got it.
Oh wait, have I been done it?
You are so lucky that you did not try and pronounce that.
That's luck. Oh my god. I nearly got played there because those other players are real. They are real players. I know them. That's
and
even the
I was
bother.
waiting. I wondered why you stopped. I assumed you just stopped because
I
you
know what I was
saw it.
doing. I knew what I was
And then I
doing.
brought it back because I
Oh.
wanted to see had you clocked, and nope, you just got lucky.
Oh, I know it's him now. I know it's him. Yeah, you. Nice try.
I should have done better. It
Thank
was
you,
hard to
James.
get you to make it.
Right, I'm not going to go to Kepa because I don't think we will see him involved much. Let's go to Saliba. Right. Are we, James? Right. Are we not? Are we being like? Are we taking it for granted now? Because I know we're not going to give him like a 9 or a 10. We're going to give him like an 8. Are we taking this for granted now by giving him like below
Yes,
these?
but also, what are we? Are we judging players by their standards or judging players in general? Because he's a top
Yes.
3 centre back in the world. We've got to judge by their standards, I think.
Yeah. No, about that.
And for that reason, I'd be going 7 or 8 because I think he's still got more to offer. The reason why I'm hesitant to give an 8 is because I gave Raya an 8, and I think Raya's been better than Saliba. Don't get me wrong, Saliba's done nothing wrong. I just think Gabriel has shown what Saliba can be. I still think, and he's admitted this himself, there are still ways in which he can elevate his game.
Yeah.
I don't know about makes mistakes every now and then to comment here. I think he could have done slightly better for the City goal. I don't think Gabriel covered himself in glory with that either. Gabriel was also the one who made the mistake for the Walter goal, but then made up for it with the. So yeah, Saliba hasn't done a great deal wrong, but by his standards, I'd be happy to go 7, which is average. But he's only suffering from his own success.
Yes, that's good. I buy that. I was going to go for an 8. I'll go for a 7. But I think come the end of the season, I think he'll be a 9. I really do. Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
And we can kind of move to Gabriel as well. Like, I think Gabriel, I'd give him a notch higher because of the winner against Newcastle, albeit the mistake he made for the Waltmart goal. But I think he'll be an 8 and then a 9.
Interrupt on this. Not just the winner. After Gabriel conceded that sloppy goal and Walter pissed him off, he was absolutely on it, won every single duel. And Newcastle were putting the pressure cooker on us sometimes. There were times when they were slinging the ball in the box, and 6'4" Gabriel is jumping above Walter and making him look like a mouse. Also, did you see Zubimendi win a header against Dan Burn that game?
I did indeed. I saw it a couple of times. I mean, Zubimendi was winning headers against Joe Linton as well. You know, he was winning duels.
He's unbelievable.
That's why I think the Jorginho is a bit. I think it's a bit unfair in certain aspects. I think he's got way more layers than Jorginho.
Oh, he's got both. Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? So,
But to go to Gabriel, I would say, if I gave Saliba a 7, I will actually stick with an 8 for Gabriel, which is above average for his standards. But again, that Walter mistake, really, really sloppy. And we know he can be better than that. Again, I think he will end the season as a 9 because I think that mistake, Gabriel's mistakes, there was a lot of talk about him being mistake prone. He's made probably 2 or 3 mistakes in the last 3 years now. He very,
but he always rises though, doesn't he? Like every time he makes a mistake, he rises in that same game. Like even in 22-23, when you remember the Mitrovic moment where he scores, takes it off Gabriel, and then but then Gabriel goes on to score the winner. I remember against Liverpool, the Darwin Núñez goal that same season, Gabriel didn't cover himself in glory in the build-up to that. But then just before half time, it's him who does the dummy. Saka then goes on to score to make it 2-1 just before half time. So he has this tendency. It's quite funny though. Like Gabriel's had, that the mistake that he made for Waltermard's goal. I mean, I do think it was a foul, but a couple of years ago, it was the same sort of thing though, isn't it? He goes to ground and then Gordon scores. But that doesn't happen with Gabriel though. It just doesn't. It's just happened twice at St. James Park. But yeah, I'm going to go for 7 for Saliba, and then he'll move to a 9, and 8 for Gabriel, and he'll move to a 9 come the end of the season.
Though, honestly, if Arsenal win the title and concede under 20 goals, there is a small chance that Gabriel could win Player of the Season.
Yeah,
And
especially the goals that he would
and
probably score as well. Yeah.
and if that was the case, then he'd be a 10. So watch this space, I suppose. Gabriel is someone who, with the right media traction, come April, May time, and if people looking at the table and Arsenal have only conceded 14 goals,
Yeah.
people are going to be saying someone in that Arsenal defence needs to get the credit they deserve, and Gabriel could be there. I actually have a sneaky feeling that Declan Rice will be platformed by the English media, but we'll get onto that.
Oh, lovely, lovely. I like that. Let's go to Mascara. What do you reckon?
9.
Yeah.
As I say, by the standards that we expected of him, he has far exceeded what we thought, and been a revelation. 21 years old.
Yes, 21
He
years
could
old.
be playing under like youth football still. He's a joke, and that is also emphasised by the fact that Arteta trusted him against Newcastle. Now at St James's Park.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. Yeah.
Now that didn't work out. He didn't have his best game there, but I think that just epitomizes how much Arteta trusts him, and all of a sudden, like we saw, Kivior was there, and Kivior was often seen as fine. Mosquera's there. People are often saying, like, hang on, can we drop this guy?
It's like it's the raw physical attributes, isn't it? Because people see him, it's like he's electric, he's powerful. I mean, I'm gonna take some heat here because I said after I rewatched the Newcastle game, I didn't watch it live, and my record is now broken of watching games. I felt he was poor in that first half. He wasn't poor against Newcastle. He wasn't. Like, there's a couple of moments. Obviously, his pass led to the corner, which then led to Watmard scoring. But I massively over-index certain things. Like he's been so good. I have a feeling, right? So this is where my whole thing about like age and experience, I don't like it. It's like you can be a very young player and have so many games under your belt and have learnt so much already. Mosquera had played the most minutes out of any under-21 international over the past 2 seasons. He was a regular for that Valencia team. He's played at the Bernabeu. He's played at the Camp Nou. He's played in difficult environments. And that's why I think when he went to Liverpool and he's, 2 minutes in, you're called on and it's baptism on fire, right? Like he was faultless.
So good that game.
I'm going to reference another article again. He's done a recent interview for the Athletic, right? And he was like, he says one of the things that he believes is a strong asset of his is he's really calm, and he backs himself.
Yeah.
And I mean, the fact that he's came to Arsenal when he knows what's in front of him tells you everything about him, really, don't you? So,
but the beauty in that is he's calm but not arrogant, and I don't mean that in a personality sense. I mean, he knows his limitations, so he's calm and he makes those punched passes when he needs to. But he's not. I don't want to name a specific name here, but he's not someone who thinks maybe that he can do more than he can, goes on mazy runs and loses the ball and then ends up looking silly. And I think compared to Saliba when they were the same age, you can see that he's just more refined. And then Saliba went and played those 70, 80 games that you're referring to. And that's why we have the Saliba we see today. So it's a cheat code that we already have someone of Mosquera's talent.
Maybe that's some of the big reasoning behind Mosquera. It's like, he's a really young boy, but he's already had that education. Like, granted, we're going to need to refine him more. He's still raw. And, there are things he needs to improve on. But, like, I think that experience is something probably we put profound emphasis on outside of the raw physical capacity that he does have. I would go for a 9. I'd agree with you. I think he will move towards an 8 come the end of the season. The reason why I think that is because as good as I believe he is, I think he is overperforming slightly at the moment. Personally, like I don't think he's going to maintain this level over the course of the whole season. I think he's going to have more lows. And that's totally fine. Like that's the way I see it. So I'm going to go for an 8 come the end of the season.
I would probably stick with a 9 on the basis that I think unless he has some real howlers before the end of the season, he will have still well exceeded expectations. And it's this trust that he's given us. And with Ben White's injury record at the moment, we might well see him play more minutes at right back, which I don't think is going to be not going to be the prettiest. We're not going to see him do Timber-like turns and 360, this sort of thing. But he will be serviceable when he will do a job, which will just, again, prove to us how valuable he is in this squad.
Yeah, you're brilliant. You're brilliant at this podcast.
No, you are.
No, you are. No, you are.
We're going to be way over an hour and a half, by the way, if we go at this rate.
We're not doing that. We're doing an hour and a half. Yeah, I've already done podding before this. I'm tired. Right, so let's just do some quick fire easy ones. Right, Timber. So
9.
Easily my player of the season so far.
Yeah.
9, and I think he will keep at 9.
Oh, almost 10.
Yeah.
Could not ask much more of Timber. His attacking output has been excellent. Defensively, he's been flawless.
The only thing I'll knock him on is I didn't think he was great against Man City, personally. And it wasn't just the case of Doc. I just don't think his all-round game was the level I expect. That's literally
I also just think Doku is the hardest winger to play against in the league, probably.
Doku have had stocks in him from day one. Like, if you're a winger who can beat your man on both sides, pace, dribbling capacity, like,
it's just his decision making.
It's decision making, and I'm a big believer, and that's why I really rate Madueke in terms of being able to it'll all click, because like if you're in a settled environment, repeated patterns, repeated positions to pick up, I just feel like your decision making can improve in that sense. So, yeah. Ben White, and quite sad really.
Not available for Ben White.
Do you think we will see more of him this season? Do you think he will maintain some level of consistency in terms of fitness? Or do you think
I just think even if he does, the gap between him and Timber now is massive. I think we see that, like, he will play Carabao, FA Cup, these type of games, but I think in any game that Arteta needs a performance, he's going to go Timber. And hopefully we will see White get back to his best, or at least get back to a serviceable level. But at the moment, I wouldn't trust him if Timber got injured, which is a slight concern. I think he'd be a weak point. So if we did rate him, I'd go 5 or 6 based on his starts the season. Probably 6. I think 5 is a bit harsh.
I'd go 7. I think he will not. Don't think he'll play as much because of Timber, really. So with that,
I think by the end of the season 7, but so far 6 is what I was.
Oh yeah. Like, I mean, we've got what? Port Vale and Olympiacos. That's all we have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. Moving on to Calafiori. I agree with that.
Behave. He's been our top 3 player of the season.
Yeah, but so if I put Timber 9, I think Zubimendi's been better than Calafiori.
I think Zubimendi, Timber, and Calafiori have been our top 3 players this season. I'd be happy to give them all 9s.
I love Calafiori, but if I'm nitpicking, I don't think he was great against Newcastle in the second half. I don't think he was great against Forest in the second half. I don't think he was great against City.
It's also, I suppose, what our expectations are for these players.
Yeah. Because
I think he has well surpassed his expectations in terms of availability and keeping Lewis Skelly out. Put it this way: the start of the season, did you think we would get this from Calafiori?
No, that's the key for me, because I don't believe I've seen anything that I'm like, oh, I didn't know he has this. I'm pretty sure we both know Calafiori, what we saw last season when he was available. We know what he's got in his locker. We've seen him play for Italy. I've seen him play for Bologna. It's all about availability. That for me is the biggest thing. Maybe I should give him a rating above just for the availability, because he's been available for every game, and also he's played both 90s for Italy.
8.5 is where we'd go. So between us, we have an 8 and a 9.
I think you'll go 9. I think you'll go 9 coming in the season.
Really? That's exciting. If as long as he stays fit, that's the important thing.
I agree. Miles?
7 for me.
Yeah, 7. I mean, well, the games we have, right? I thought he did well when he came on against United. When he came off Calafiori. When we suffered. He was really good against Olympiacos. He was really good against Olympiacos. Thought he played well against Port Vale. That's really it, what we have in terms of like meaningful minutes. Like, he's had other cameos in other games, but I think 7's fair.
I'm happy for a 7 or I'll go with 7. Again, because it all comes down to expectations, because this season my expectations are so high for him because we know what he's capable of. And I don't think he's hit the same heights. But development isn't linear. We know that.
Yeah. Adam, I know I totally feel it, but hopefully you're loving this show today because I'm loving it. Yeah, just wanted to add that.
Also, if Rohan's face didn't show that he's loving it while he said that, it's because he's now been 2 hours on camera straight, so he's probably very tired. So can everyone offer some well wishes to Rohan in the chat? By the way, your camera is far better than it was earlier, so well done on.
Thank God
on
for that.
fixing it.
I reckon I could have left the stream and it'd be fine. I just didn't want. Yeah, I just didn't want to test it. Let's go to Hincapié. Right, I'm excited by Hincapié, and the reason why is because I don't really know loads about him, so I'm kind of like just gonna see. I'm gonna sit back and observe.
Yeah.
So
if Rohan doesn't know anything about him, then I certainly don't.
You used to watch a lot of Bayer Leverkusen games, didn't you? Was that you?
Yeah. No. Maybe back in my heyday. Back in my heyday when I used to watch a lot of European football. I watch nothing outside the Premier League now. So
you don't get. There's not enough hours in the day. I'll sit here and debate with anyone. I'm thinking, how on earth are you watching all these players? It's not possible.
Yeah, there's actually a funny. Someone tweeted saying like I watched 10 hours of. I watched 10 full games of Calafiori play football, and this is what my conclusions. And someone's like, "No, you didn't." And he went, "Yeah, I just watched the highlights." And it's like, what they do? Watching 10 hours.
Yeah, it's like I think what they do, and I've done this before. Like if I'll watch the full games, but then like the last couple of games, I'll just like skip through it to just see when the ball gets close to them. Then you can see what
No, but
they're
this
doing.
person was just watching Y Scout highlights.
Oh, really? Just Y Scout highlights.
Which is not a representation of a player's game. If you watch a player's these clips that come on after the game where they'll say like Miles Lewis Kelly versus whoever England played, don't even know because I didn't watch it. People will make one assumption, but you cannot make a conclusion on that player's performance based on just their on the ball performance.
You can. I've used Y Scout many times. You can it's really good. Like don't get me wrong, it's great. But you cannot have a concrete judgment on a player just from Y Scout. It's not possible. It's not possible. Guarantee you that.
It's not possible. It's not possible. That's a Guardiola one. Alex would have loved it.
I want to go for an 8 because I'm optimistic. Glass half full, mate.
Oh, this season? Yeah, I'll go 8. I want to see those overlapping runs because he's absolutely rapid.
Yeah. Everyone's been talking about that, so I'll be there to judge. We'll be there to judge. Right, midfielders. Let's go through this quickly. Odegaard. I'm actually so gutted, right? Because I think it's not just this season where he started to cook. I think he's been cooking since PSG away from last season, like back end of the season. Like I think he's been on a run of game. Like think of back in the last season. I thought he was really good in that game at the Parc des Princes. He played well against Liverpool. It was his shot that forced the save from Alisson before Merino converted. He scored our final goal against Southampton. He set up Declan Rice. Granted, the bulk of the puck was done with Rice with that strike, but he played well in that game. I thought he did well in pre-season. I thought he's done well this season. So.
Yeah, he's been purring, I would say. What?
Purring. Thought you said it.
Never heard that before.
But though you said it, you were purring.
He's not. This is not Odegaard's best. We've not seen Odegaard at his very best. We've seen glimpses.
Yes.
But I know that, especially I think if we get back to that 4-2-3-1 when Odegaard's in central spaces, especially if he's playing with Eze, because we kind of saw it very, very briefly against Newcastle. Just not having so much responsibility in the build-up and in every phase and pressing, he needs to have more energy by the time he's got the ball to be creative. And I think often in this team, he's been exerting himself so much that by the time he's got the ball, his action isn't as clean. Yeah. And I think we've seen actually similar with Havertz in previous years as well. Odegaard this season, I'd say 7, again, because of my expectations for him. And I think he's been average by his expectations. I think by the end of the season, 8, because if he gets back for winter, November guard and December guard, well, he feels like he's in Norway. He plays excellently. So I look forward to that.
I buy that. I agree with a lot of that, actually. Yeah, I'd go with those ratings as well. Let's go with Ethan Waneri. I think he's been very good every time he's been called upon. Every time.
He
I love Elliot.
has.
By the way, right, Elliot Anderson, baller, absolute baller.
Yeah,
Top
I've
player.
been a fan of his for a
Have you?
while. I can't remember. Did you not know this? I tweeted at the start of the season saying this is now an Elliot Anderson fan account. He's
Fair
my
play.
type of player. I told you, Roy Keane, Francis Coquelin, Elliot
He's
Anderson.
quality. I was there. I remember watching. I thought, yeah, this guy's good. But Ethan Moneri was running him ragged in that first half.
Yeah,
He was running him ragged. But yeah,
7 or 8. I'm not sure because we've not seen enough of him, of course, and I
Yeah.
don't think that's a huge problem that everyone's trying to make. But he's purring also.
yeah.
He's
I'm going to give
purring.
him an 8. I think he's been
He's
fantastic.
chomping at the bit, and I'm excited for him to explode, but not literally.
Lovely. I mean, fair enough. Fair enough.
I hate you.
He can explode in whatever way he wants to. Okay, I'm going to give him an 8, and I will believe he will get an 8 come the end of the season as well. I love a bit of immaturity. I love it. That's just how I am. Mikel Merino.
7.
So, okay, let's look at his games. I thought I vehemently disagree with anybody, right, who was criticizing Mikel for the Mikel Merino selection against Liverpool. Are you researching that word?
No.
Oh, you're not. Oh,
I know what it means.
You're checking if I pronounced it right.
There's the word of the day. Is that how you spell it?
I think so. Yes.
I think so. So to all the questioners out there, if this hasn't been used as a word of the day, it's vehemently, in my inexpert opinion, means strongly.
Strongly.
Right, strongly and passionately.
Yeah.
I think.
Anyway, I'm not gonna talk too much about Marine again because we'll be dragging on. Right. I'm gonna go for 7 as well. I agree, and I think you'll stay at a 7. And I think that will be a very good return. So yeah.
Martin Zubimendi.
Very quickly, I will say 9, and I think he's going to continue to be a 9. 10.
No. I will stick with a 9. And the final piece of his puzzle is these biggest of games. I think he could be slightly better in these biggest of games. I think in the Liverpool game, he wasn't at his best. He was chasing at times a little. In the City game, did he?
I thought he was really good in the City game. Yeah.
I think he was fine.
I thought he was great at St James's Park. I thought he was fantastic.
He was unbelievable at St James's Park.
Yeah.
No, sorry. Was it West Ham? West Ham. He was absolutely.
I feel like you're thinking
unbelievable,
about Man United, which Zubimendi's worst game so far was Man United. I think.
And Liverpool. I don't think.
I think in like the last 20 or so minutes he was.
Yeah, he was just blowing. He was not.
Yeah. But do you think if we had a Norgard, maybe Mikel would have made that change? Perhaps.
Yes, very, very possibly. I don't know exactly how tired he was.
Yeah.
You'd have to ask him to find out. But I think very probably.
Thank you for that.
Also, the only reason why I'm criticizing him is to say why I haven't given him a 10. So I'm just saying his level dropped from a 10 in those 2 games. Apart from that, he's been tremendous. And this is a very good point that he was ill against United. As there are a few people, I think.
Very good, CC. Very good.
Corinne Chowdhury. It's probably not.
Declan Rice.
We got him off price. 8 out of 10.
Yeah, 8, and then I think it'll move to a 9.
Yeah. And potentially a 10 when he is crowned PFA Player of the Season, because Arsenal are top of the league and doing so well. And the pundits are looking around thinking, who is responsible for this? And English pundits will be English pundits. And naturally, and probably justifiably so, they will look at Declan Rice. And all those pictures of Rice holding that trophy would be good.
And I'll see you at the parade.
I will see you all at the parade.
See you all at the parade. We're getting absolutely. I'm not going to say that actually. No one's going to swear. Norgard. I think. Well, I mean, he's played what? He played against Port Vale. Not gonna lie, I thought he was meh against Port Vale, but he was. I watched it back. I was like,
fine.
He's fine, isn't he? He's fine. I think he'll be a 6.
super chat.
Thank you, Michael. How many of the squad do you think will score 10 plus league goals, and how many 15 plus league goals? Saka, Gyökeres, Havertz,
Will
Eze.
Eze?
I think so.
I want to shake your hand.
Spud me. Yeah.
This is terrible. This is terrible content.
No, because when we're going back to Kahneman, right? Eze's ball striking is fantastic. I think we can all agree to that. He's taken the most shots out of any other player alongside Mateus Cunha so far and not scored a goal.
I saw that as well.
Yeah.
And I think
It's
he's
the
Mike
more for
Cutting
Palace
it,
in that Chelsea game. So 11 for Arsenal, but yeah, I think.
Yeah, I think he's a good shooter. He's I don't think he's necessarily an excellent finisher, but you know that he will
Outside
consistently
the
score
box.
goals. Yeah, he's a good finisher from outside the box. Not consistently good inside the box, I would say, but yeah, we've seen how many chances he's been getting, and if Ødegaard is out, he's going to get game time. So I think so. Who are we? Eze, Gyökeres, Havertz, Saka. Too much rotation on the left wing to guarantee it.
Yeah, exactly. And especially with Eze playing a lot. I think
that's all for that. And then 15. Ooh.
I think Gyökeres will hit 15.
Depends if he takes penalties. I think Gyökeres will. I think Gyökeres and Saka.
Yeah.
If Saka hits 15 goals, I'll be very happy.
You know what I'd love? I'd love for Gabriel to get 10 league goals. Imagine a centre back getting 10 league goals.
How many is he on? 1?
Yeah.
He's got an uphill battle. 10 goals in all comps this season.
Yeah.
But he's still on 1 in all comps, I think. So
thank you, Michael, for that wonderful super chat. Thank you so much. Moving on to, I think that's midfielders. Yeah, let's go to Saka. All right, let's go through this quickly, right? Saka, I think he's been a 7. He's going to be a 9.
7 and going to be an 8.
Okay.
I hope we see Saka back to his fluid best. I think his problem solving will always be world class. I just want to see his burst back a little bit. I still don't think he's got the Saka of last season prior to his injury was the best version of Saka and was one of the best players in the league.
Yeah,
I think to say he'll be a 9, I want to see him back to being one of the best players in the league. And I think, with all due respect, I think he's way off it right now. He's still our best attacker, but I think the gap is still quite big.
I hear that.
So I got 8, but I hope 9. I really hope.
How many
we
do
see
you
him without the
think you'll get come the end of the season, like all comps?
All comps. 30?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's very hard. It's very hard to predict.
30 would be 30 is a shout. 30 is definitely a shout.
How many is he on?
He's on
2 goals. Any assist?
Has he got 2 goals?
He got scored against Leeds, I think. Before
Leeds, he scored against Leeds, and then
scored a penalty.
Of course, yeah. 2 goals. Yeah, 2 so far.
I enjoy this.
Oh, it's all right. We're entering near the end of the show. It's fine. Audio listeners won't care. Audio listeners are like, oh, you're all whining. So yeah. Eze. Is it Eze? Or
so I've been wanting a platform to tell everyone this because nobody gets it right. He said in an interview, I have watched one interview, the second is the same sound as the first So Eze.
Okay.
Eze.
Oh, that was lovely.
Thank you.
Do it again.
Thank you. No, that's paid content.
All right. I'm gonna go for. I think he's been fantastic. I genuinely do believe he's been really, really good. Considering where he's came from, considering the different way Palace play, all those nuances. I'm gonna go for a 7 because I rate him really highly though. I'm gonna go for a 7 and I'm gonna move it to a 9.
I have nothing new to add. That's exactly what I was going to say. Is a 7 because for him to be higher, these chances that he's been creating for himself, he would have to finish, which he hasn't been at the moment. So 7, and I think he is capable of a 9. And I think also, I just love watching him. Like these jinky me jinky. It's so fun. So yeah, what?
I've got nothing else to add on the fact that Tuesday's gone. I see you in the chat. You tried it, but I spotted it straight away. I'm not reading that out. I mean, if I didn't get that one, then good Lord, what's happened to me? Martinelli?
8.
8. And then what about
in his
come the end of the
limited
season?
in his limited minutes, I've been very impressed. I think 8 as well. I don't think he's necessarily going to get a wealth of minutes, but I think he will. I think he will take the opportunities he gets and be on the periphery of starting. But due to the composition of the team, I think we're less. I think when Havertz comes back in, we will see more of Martinelli. That is my hypothesis.
That's interesting. George was saying something similar in the Patreon, the scouted of Kai Havertz. So yeah, very good. Yokres?
7.
Yeah.
Or 6, depending on how high you
I'd say
rate
like
him.
upper limit is 7. Like, yeah, I guess 7.
7 is us saying that he needs time to adapt.
Yeah.
6 is if you're saying we signed a world-class striker who's scored 2 open play goals so far.
7 is me sitting here saying like we also have to consider how much we paid for him, as well. Like,
yes,
because do you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
So yeah, I think 7's fair, and I think he will be an 8. I think Kai Havertz is going to help him a lot. I really do think that.
So do I.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with 7 at the end of the season because I think Havertz will usurp him, and I think he will struggle to find his way back into the team. Your eyebrows really did something there.
Was it like The Rock?
You've got excellent eyebrows. I didn't know you were capable.
Wait,
Also, can everyone congratulate Rohan on the runs he's been doing recently? He did a slow run, a deliberately chosen slow run, which I've been asking him to do for a long time because not every run has to be your fastest run. So everyone should give Rohan credit in the chat.
Really quick story because, and I apologize, we're not going to be able to do lots. We're not going to be able to do questions today because we want to go quickly to the Fulham lineups and predictions, right? But basically, I injured myself and I was at the Emirates. Do you know what happens? So, when you're sitting up a tier, I sit like where I'm like, I want to get as close as possible. So my knees are on the guy in front of me. My knees are on not on him.
I love how that a foot makes a difference when you're already 100 meters away from the other side of the stadium.
It's like my knees are next to the chair just in front of me, and the guy in front of me, we just played the ball back. We did a back pass, and he like slammed his chair on with his back like 3 times, and my knees are like getting decimated, like absolutely destroyed. I thought, yeah, this guy's actually screwed me now in terms of running for the next week at least. Yeah, that guy's an idiot. If you're watching, you're an idiot. I'm sorry, you're an idiot. You were literally like having a full-on meltdown. We literally went from Trossard back to Saliba. That was it.
That does make me laugh when people get so upset about simply circulating possession.
Yeah, and he's like, we're trying to win the league while we're passing it back. I'm like, mate, just get out of there. Just leave. You're actually gonna. Yeah.
What game was this?
West Ham.
Which we comfortably won 2-0.
Funny enough, he actually did get. Well, I don't think he got kicked out, but he got moved away because he wasn't sitting in his right seat. So that was good for my knees for sure. So yeah. Anyway, back to it because my God, we are waffling.
Leandro Trossard.
Low-key, I think he's been very underrated this season. I think people are projecting a preconceived bias. They have a preconceived bias on Leandro Trossard, and they're projecting that on some of his performances this season. When actually, his performances, I think, have been good. Ironically, his finishing, I would have liked him to be slightly more efficient with some of the chances that's come his way. That's where I stand on Trossard. So yeah.
I also think people don't know how to judge him because they're not understanding his role in this team.
Ooh.
Par example, his pre-assist, I don't think it was a pre-assist because I don't think Gyökeres scored, but the time, I can't remember which game it was, he pulled back into a left midfield position.
Yeah.
First time, I want to say, or maybe second time, hooks it over to Rice, and he's done this more than once now. And then Rice slides it across goal, and Gyökeres just about misses it. And Trossard will never get the credit for that, but he essentially created that chance all by himself, all by really good technique and really good vision to create that chance. So he is playing a different role than he has been previously, but that role is very effective for the team. And for me, the reason why we've seen him get picked more and more again, despite Martinelli scoring the goals. I don't know if that's a compliment or not.
No, that's a compliment. I'd take that as a compliment.
I know.
I'd take that.
Also, Shyam, it helps that I'm with this beautiful boy, Rohan Jivan. He brings out the best in me and the worst.
And the worst. Do you remember that night? We won't get into that. God.
You've made it sound worse than it was.
It's pretty bad though, wasn't it?
Just letting lodgers stay in our Premier League. That's a story for another day.
Yeah.
Who did we have? Martinelli?
Yeah,
Martinelli.
We did Trossard. So we've done Trossard. I'm gonna go for 8. No, actually, no, I'm not gonna go for 8. Okay, I'll go for 8. Yeah, I'll go for 8. If you're going for 8, I'll go for 8.
7.58. But I like the role he's playing.
I think he'll move back to a 7 though.
So do I. And finally, Maximilian Daumann.
I'm gonna give him a 9. I'm gonna give him a 10 because he's won a penalty as a 15-year-old in a Premier League game.
Was that
against Leeds? Yeah, he won the penalty.
Oh, sugar!
Yeah,
of course it was.
I'm giving
I was
him
thinking
a
the
10.
pre-season game against Newcastle. Yeah, no complaints about that.
Yeah. And I think he'll move to like.
But Arteta
10.
hates the youth. Arteta hates the
He's
youth.
Stay as a 10. Quickly, Gyökeres and Havertz. Oh no, we've got to do Madueke. All right, Madueke, I would say a 7. And I think he will stay at 7 this season, which is good.
Yeah, he's close to being an 8, but his final product.
Yeah.
So there was one game, I can't remember specifically what game it was.
Bilbao second half.
Not that game.
Oh, Forest?
I think so. He was brutalizing their fullback, but his final product wasn't perfect. Is brutalizing a word?
I believe it is.
It is.
Yes,
it is.
Wow. Tuesday's gone. Yeah, you're my bad. I'll give Max Daumann a 9.9. Yeah, my bad. I don't even give 10s. So yeah, it was my bias towards the young lad.
Fulham away, difficult game.
I think we're going to smash them. 2-0. And my lineup. we ain't got time to mess about.
No, just laughing at. We're going to smash them. 2-0.
2-0.
I thought you were going to say like 3 or 4-0.
And I will not say the next one. I'm going to go for. All right, you give me your prediction.
I don't 2-0, but I don't think we'll smash them. I think it will be a difficult game. Do not underestimate Marco Silva. He is a very good coach.
I agree.
I think it'll be a difficult game. I think
angry
when
man
we
on the
score,
sidelines. I don't know if you've noticed that he's always angry, Marco Silva.
Not as angry as the Wolves manager. He's an angry little man, Vitor Pereira. Where were we? Sorry, you've distracted.
Your prediction.
The first goal will make a big difference. So against West Ham, what time was the first goal? Quite early.
It was like 32nd, 33rd minute. Yeah.
Which led the rest of the game to be very, very calm and controlled. I think we're probably due a game. It sounds stupid because we've just had a late winner in a game. Probably due a game where it stays 0-0 because our defense is very good, but we play against a very resilient team. So I think probably we're not going to score until about the 60th minute, but then Fulham will come out a little bit and then we'll score again. 2-0. Thank you very much. Mikel's Reds continue to the title, and Liverpool drop points against Man United 1-0.
Absolutely fantastic. Quickly line up. And by the way, I absolutely agree with this, James. You are the main guy. You deserve a 9.9 out of 10 because I don't give 10s out.
Wow.
So my lineup, you agree or disagree, right? I'm going Raya, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori, Zubimendi, Waneri, Rice, Saka, Gyökeres, Eze. That's my team. I know what you're going to do. You're going to do Eze, right centre mid, and you're going to play Trossard.
Yeah. Because
Go on.
I want Eze in central spaces. Because we signed him in central spaces for exactly games like this. We are trying to break down a mid block, and you've got this beautiful mid block breaker in central spaces, and you're going to go, let's stick him on the wing so you can try and
go and have a look at that that goal we scored against Fulham last season from the left.
No. The one that was disallowed.
No, it was it disallowed? The
I
curler?
thought you meant the cross and then header. Oh, you mean he scored? I thought you meant Arsenal scored that goal that was disallowed.
No, Eze for Palace last season against Fulham in the cup, I think it was.
Yeah, but he can do that from attacking midfield. He can come from wherever he wants.
So can Ethan.
I love Waneri, but I don't mind either way. Right, you're the tactical.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I don't mind anyway. And we'll leave it there. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning. I actually really loved that because it was just absolute banter. Some interesting moments with some pause moments for sure. Definitely some pause-worthy moments. But no, we had a good time. Hope you guys really enjoyed the show. And like I said at the start of the pod, if you wanted to become a Patreon or YouTube member, you can by becoming a member within the link below in the description. I said that in such an awful way, but you can access the free trial, 7-day free trial. So yeah, do get your teeth stuck into that. There'll be a scouted tomorrow, I believe, on Kai Havertz. That's all from me. Anything else to say, my man?
No, just thank you for having me.
Lovely.
And see you soon.
Oh, that's lovely. I need to. What about that? Does that sound better? Oh, lovely.
Lovely Midlands accent, that.
Thank you all. And last but not least, thanks for keeping it Arsenal.
Tens of thousands of football fans came to Highbury. This was one kind of queue the ladies thoroughly enjoyed.
Electrifying. Electrifying. Inspiration.